Please put your hands together and welcome Mark Dacascos. So, how are we enjoying our weekend so far in sunny London today?
I actually love it. I even love the rain. But first, thank you so much for coming out. Really, really appreciate it. In our crazy world, to see all these beautiful smiling faces and great energy, I thank you. Thank you.
So, I was going to say you're an experienced actor, which, doesn't mean you're an old actor. I mean, you've been acting for a very long time.
I have.
Tell us a little bit about, what your kind of favourite things to act on, and maybe your best actor to work with. Just narrow it down that much.
Okay. Well, so I've been going at it for a long time. And may I tell you a short story of how I started? Thank you. I was going to tell you anyway, but thank you. So, I heard that I was born in Hawaii. I grew up in Germany. Most of my teenage years were in Germany. While I was there, I decided I wanted to be a monk. Yeah, I had seen Jet Li in the Shaolin Temple, and I thought, wow, martial arts, philosophy, doing good for other people. I'm going to be a monk. So I played drums. I sold my drum set. I saved up my money from teaching martial arts classes for my parents. And some friends made donations. And I made my way to Taipei, Taiwan. 6 months there, living in an apartment with no hot water, 6 floors up, broken elevator. And I was teaching German and English to make money so that I could pay for Kung Fu school and for Chinese language so that someday I could go to a monastery. Long story short, my uncle came to Taiwan from Hawaii with a hula dance troupe. I was 17, and I was thinking, I'm never going to have relations. But I saw the and the hula skirts, and I thought, okay, I'm not monk material. So I made my way back to Germany and then ended up in San Francisco trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life. Teaching martial arts for my mom. I took a lunch break, walking through Chinatown, and 2 men stopped me. And they said, hey, we're making a movie. Do you want to be in it? And I said, no, thank you. And they said, why not? We're making a movie. I said, well, I'm not an actor. Well, you don't want to try? No, thank you. They gave me a card. They said, well, would you at least consider it? And I thought, well, sure. I took the card. Later that day, I talked to my mom, and I said, these guys want me to audition for the show. And she said, well, the monk thing didn't work out. You're trying to figure out what you want to do, whether you go to college or this or that. Life is a big adventure. Why don't you audition and just see how it works out? So I did the audition, didn't know what the heck I was doing. They said, improvise. I said, improvise what? I didn't know what that was. In any case, 3 days later, I got the call that I got this movie. Okay, I'm excited, I guess. I show up on set, and I saw this beautiful Chinese girl sitting on the hood of this car with all these cameras around. And the director came up to me and he said, okay, that's your girlfriend. I said, oh, acting is good. He said, I want you guys to improvise this scene. You go up, this girl is studying German. You speak German, so improvise a scene in German about you being the boyfriend, haven't seen each other for a while, and then start making out. And I thought, okay, does she know about this? Yes, of course she knows about this. She's an actress. I said, okay, great. So, action, I go walking out, we improvise the dialogue part, and then we get to the making out part. Now, he had told me, that he wants us to kiss like boyfriend and girlfriend. So I thought, okay, we start making out and stuff, and then I guess I'm getting kind of into it, because when he yelled, cut, I didn't stop. I kept going. Cut, Mark, stop. I'm like, okay, because I didn't know what cut meant anyway. In any case, that girl was Joan Chen from Last Emperor, that great actress. And the director was Wayne Wang. That was his second movie in America. So that's how I started. And of course, the allure of, wow, actors get to kiss pretty girls and they get paid. You know, of course the teenage me was like, that's pretty cool. But eventually, I thought, wow, actors, if they do their job well, they can touch people's hearts. They can move the spirit, bring laughter, bring joy, bring emotion, you know, with their energy. And I thought that's, in a weird way, similar to a monk. You know, so at 18 years old, that was my first experience with acting, and then I started studying, and you know, I went to drama school and college and professional classes, and I'm still studying to this day. And I have to say that the more I act, the more I love it. Because it's really important, especially, I think, maybe now more than ever, in our crazy times. You know, if we do our job well, we tell the human story, you know, whether it be physical dialogue in action movies or drama or comedy, you know. And hey, if monkhood to acting brought me here with you all here today, then it's a good life. So, thank you.
The guys in the street kind of gave you their card.
Yes.
I mean, they must have been aware of your martial arts, but the fact that you could speak German. So where did they get that information from?
Well, okay, so they just thought that I looked the part of this boy playing the girl. I mean, they had no idea that I did any martial arts or that I grew up in Germany, none of that, you know. But that producer, the guy who found me, he went on later to become a big producer for, Bryan Singer, you know. So everybody moved on and did their things, you know. But I just find that the life of an actor, it's really difficult. You know, like all of my siblings, all of them, they would visit me in Vancouver or Vancouver and Budapest. They came to the States and everybody's like, wow, we want to be actors, because they just saw the red carpets, they saw the traveling, you know, they saw all that. I asked each of them, I said, do you guys like studying? Across the board, no, right? I said, would you, instead of working 8 hours, like to work 12 hours or 16 hours? And sometimes 6 days a week. In China, sometimes 7 days a week. No. So I said, well, then you guys don't want to be actors. Because to be good, you know, I mean, we really have to work hard. I mean, one of my acting teachers said, don't take this lightly. You're expecting people to spend 2 hours, 3 hours of their time giving you attention, being focused on you, and giving you and the company their hard-earned money. You need to be worthy. And that hit me like, bam, whoa, I need to be working on this every single day. Every single day. And so I do my best. I try, you know. The last few years, up until John Wick 3, I hadn't done a lot of physical dialogue, a lot of action movies. And one of the reasons I pulled back on that was because, you know, I was fortunate to have a really cool run when I was younger, doing all this action, and I loved it. But then as I evolved as an actor, to me, my sensibility, the stories didn't evolve. And so I'd get stories that I felt were not moving with the times, you know, and I was fortunate enough, I loved working on Brotherhood of the Wolf and working on The Crow, Stairway to Heaven, and Crying Freeman, and all these stories that not only had action, but had a human spirit, story, dynamics, and relationships. I didn't want to just do punch and kick, though I love watching it sometimes. What moves me a lot is the story. You know, the original Karate Kid, Jackie Chan's Karate Kid as well, but especially the first one. Oh, boy, I could watch that over and over again. Because if you look at the choreography compared to nowadays, it's very basic. But it didn't matter, because it was the story. You know, when he learned how to do that kick, wow! You know, it was something like that. You know, so for me, acting has always been about touching the spirit. When I see somebody that's a fantastic flipper or kicker or martial artist, I get awed by the physicality. a couple seconds after that, I think, why? Why do they work that hard? What motivates them? What is their story? Where do they come from? That to me is amazing. You know, and that's one of the joys of the acting is that every one of us, and you guys know this, but we all have these crazy stories, our lives. You know, we have the things that unite us, and then the uniqueness. And as an actor, I get to jump into somebody else's skin and experience from their points of view. You know, it's pretty amazing. Yeah, I'm blessed. I feel so grateful.
Right, so you guys must have loads of questions then. So let's have some arms in the air. Yeah, start right down the front here.
Does Zero survive John Wick 3? I hope so, but I don't know. I don't know. You know, I talk with Chad Stahelski, our director, and we text. And as we speak, they're working on the script for John Wick 4. He has not given me a yay or a nay. Perhaps he doesn't even know yet. I don't know. You know, because he works with the writers, we have the executives. I hope so, because I loved that character. But I probably won't find out until the next month or so, you know. The original actor for John Wick 3, for Zero, was the incredible actor Hiroyuki Sanada. He was, he worked with Keanu before, and that's who they had in mind. Something happened, so on a Sunday, 2018, in May, on a Sunday, I get a text from Chad Stahelski. Hey, Dacascos, call me tomorrow. I text him back, will do. Right? We talk on Monday morning. I said, hey, Chad, how you doing? Good. I said, how can I help you? He goes, well, things have changed. Mr. Sanada, no longer Zero. We want to invite you. I want you. And I said, you want me to do what? He goes, I want you to be Zero. I said, yes. He goes, read the script first. I said, no. Yes. He says, read the script first. I said, okay. He said the script. It was great. But I did have some questions about the character, because to me, the way it was written, I saw Hiroyuki Sanada. I mean, and, you know, it was this magnificent, somewhat stoic, you know, noble warrior. And I thought, well, I can't do that better than Mr. Sanada. So I asked Chad, I said, Chad, I love it. Thank you. I'm grateful. I would love to do it. Yes. Would you be open to me doing some things with it? He says, yes, we're collaborative. So at the part, I asked him, I said, when do you need me in New York? I was in LA at that time. He says, can you leave tonight? So, right? Offer on Monday. I left Monday night. I get there Tuesday morning. I shaved my head on Wednesday, and Thursday we're filming. My first scene with Asia Kate Dillon and Lawrence Fishburne. No preparation, no 6 months training, not even know who my character was. I'm still trying to figure it out, you know. Cut to, spoiler alert. You guys have, most of you seen the movie, or kind of, sort of? Can I talk a little bit about the couch scene? Okay, thank you. So, we do the couch scene. And it was written, you know, very, very proper. You know, personal space. When you meet somebody, you don't do what Zero did. But I thought, you know, this would be an interesting point, because Zero, he's an assassin. He's in that world. He's very skilled. But of course he has respect for Mr. Wick. In the script, it says, I'm a fan. But I thought, to make it maybe more interesting and give more color, I don't have to say it, but just in my mind, I'm a fan. Boy. So how do I physicalize that? We had rehearsal for that couch scene. And Chad said, before I give you guys any direction, why don't you just do whatever you want? And I thought, ding, 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 I got some ideas, you know? It's either going to work or they're going to fire me. I'm going to take a chance. And Keanu, I didn't tell Keanu what I was planning. I didn't tell Chad. But they left it open for us to try it. So, rehearsal time, everybody's behind the curtain. Keanu asked me, he says, hey Mark, do you feel like I should go in first? Or do you want to go in first? I said, well, with respect, Keanu, who's Rick, I feel like maybe you should go in first. No problem. So he goes in, he sits down on the couch. I come in, this is on rehearsal now, and normally I would just sit on the chair or on the far end, but I thought I'm just going to go for it. In Zero's mind, this is the one and only time where he's going to be alone with Mr. Luke, right? And so he can kind of like open the door to the version of him that most people don't see. So Keanu's sitting over here, and right here, in the rehearsal, I start doing this, and I could feel Keanu like look up. He's trying to stay in character for rehearsal, but I could feel the WTF come up. You know what I mean? Then I keep coming, and now my leg is touching his leg, right? And he just ever slightly moves it over because he thinks I'm going to and I move over a little closer. So now I'm pressing up against his body. Then I slide down, and my butt rubs against his side, his arm, and his leg, and we're like lovers sitting right there. I can feel he's totally uncomfortable, but he's also trying not to laugh. And I was thinking, is he just going to yell, cut, we can't do this, or somebody else? But he stayed in the scene, and he let me play, so he's staying in character, and I'm not moving. And then he does this look, just like he does in the show. And I just stayed in character, Then he scoots over, nothing. Then he just gets up and sits there. And then I look. And again, he tries not to laugh. So we finish the scene. Chad yells, cut a rehearsal. Keanu drops some F-bombs and starts laughing. He says, that's too funny, man. We can't do that. We can't do that. Quiet from behind. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, he's either going to fire me or not. And Chad says, I like it. We're doing it. I get my job. So sometimes you just got to go for it, But so happy because, Keanu said, he told me, he goes, that's not really the way we saw this. It was written for Hiroyuki and Chad too. But huge respect and gratitude to them because they opened up the vision, and let some other colors in. And I heard that up until 2 weeks before they locked the picture, they had some of my, Chad would always cover it and make sure that I did some very conventional, straight bad guy takes. And then he would say, Dacascos, give me something. And then he'd let me be a little crazy. And so up until 2 weeks before they locked picture, they had the more conventional takes. And then Chad said to the editor, we need some spice in there, do something. Evan Schiff, our editor, took out some of my crazy takes and I'm thumbs up and smiling, and he put those in. And Chad saw it and started laughing, and he said, I don't know, that's too funny. And then Evan said to him, well, you're laughing. And then Chad said, keep it. So that was a crazy process. So I got lucky that these guys were artists and open to different versions. And that's the way it happened.
Not supposed to be the card.
Hi, it's a martial arts question more than a movie one. Your dad was inducted into the Martial Arts Hall of Fame and was a martial arts instructor as well as an actor. How much extra pressure did that put on you from the family business?
So, both of my parents are martial arts teachers. My father taught my mom. My mom became one of the top-ranked fighters, female fighters, competitors in America for almost 5 years straight. So, mom and dad are both really tough, and I'm proud to say that I was one of the few teenagers who had a mom that could outrun him and beat the crap out of him. And at 77, if you check my Instagram, she probably still can. It's crazy. And she's a grandma with abs. It's like, it freaks my kids out. They even tell me that's not right. Can't help it. But yeah, it put pressure because my dad wanted me to be a kung fu teacher, and in my way, I feel like I'm doing that in a way because over the years I've taken private students and I teach classes and workshops whenever I can. But more than that, I try to carry the martial spirit of mind, body, and spirit. Because it doesn't make any sense to me for me to go and do a martial arts class and be polite and respectful for 2 hours, 3 times a week, and then go outside of the gym and just be not a nice person. It's more important, I think, for martial arts. What is the philosophy? What does that give you to use in your day-to-day life? And that's respect and presence and being open-hearted and actually listening. What I learned in martial arts and from my Shakespeare teacher, Patsy Rodenberg, who's from London, Guildhall, National Theatre, the RSC, she's an incredible teacher, is to, while I was fighting, I was so used to putting the mouthpiece in and clenching so that when you take a hit, you don't get knocked out and your teeth don't fall out. Well, tight jaw, releasing the jaw opens up the ear canals, which makes it easier to listen and be open-hearted. So as a martial artist, as an actor, to carry that martial spirit and be open and present and focused, like you're sparring. You know what I mean? Like in sparring, the great thing about martial arts, I'll use my son as an example. The only time he listens to me is when we do martial arts. Because he knows if he doesn't keep his hands up, I'm going to kick him. So it's like, wow, there you are, Makoa. You're listening, you're present. So my idea is if I can take that martial spirit, that awareness and presence and readiness into my everyday life when I'm talking here with you folks and when I'm doing my acting, which of course I need that, then I have a chance. I have a chance at being a better person. I have a chance at being a better actor. Martial arts has helped me in every which way. Because it's so much more than physical. And sometimes it makes me sad because, if you don't train martial arts and if you don't see it in its entirety, a lot of people, I feel, don't understand that it's a holistic art. It's mind, body, and spirit. If I do these movements, to me, it brings a certain energy. It makes me alive. Just doing this pose right here. Just doing that. Or you come down low. And I love you. But you know what I mean? It brings a certain energy up. And I think whether it be yoga or martial arts, the breath, the body, the spirit, it's all connected. So martial arts, all the way through. It's helped me stay disciplined and focused for the acting.
Hey Mark, you okay? What movie or project would you say was your most challenging and why?
Wow, okay. In one way, John Wick 3, it was really easy and extremely challenging. Really easy because I didn't have time to get nervous or sweat it. I got the job on Monday and I'm shooting on Thursday. No preparation, so I didn't have time to go, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I had to just show up and do it, So that was, in a weird way, very freeing because you don't overthink it, Challenging, however, because I didn't have the 6 months to prepare. I would have prepared, a little differently. I try to stay in shape by running and doing yoga and martial arts on my own anyway. But had I the time to investigate and figure out Zero's physicality, I perhaps would have done things differently. So I don't know, maybe it was good that it just happened this way because I didn't overthink, you know. So that was very challenging to keep up with the choreography. You know, we do the fight scenes on Wick, and Keanu and I would rehearse a certain sequence. Chad, our director, would look at it and go, you know what, change it. So, you know, the hours that we spent learning that, you know, now we've got to come up with a new sequence in the next 5 or 10 minutes before the cameras are ready to shoot, you know? So that was crazy. When I did Brotherhood of the Wolf, there's an opening sequence where Samuel Le Bihan and I are wearing these long trench coats, leather trench coats. So we shot this opening sequence. I think in the actual movie that came out, it's 1/3 of what we shot. But for 2 weeks, we're in the Pyrenees Mountains. It was winter, it was cold. I had a wetsuit under the leather trench coat. We were in mud, and Dan Lauston put rain machines on us. So it's raining, big boots, mud, you know, cold, fighting, slippery, dirty. That was very challenging and very uncomfortable. And, you know, the good thing is with a wetsuit, you can always go pee-pee and then stay warm that way. I'm joking, but you could if you wanted to. Just saying, you could. So that was physically challenging. I worked on this other show called The Island of Dr. Moreau, and when I auditioned, it was for Richard Stanley, the original writer and director, based on H.G. Wells' novel. By the time I got down to Australia, where we shot, political crazy reasons, Richard Stanley was no longer the director. John Frankenheimer took over. Anyway, I play half man, half leopard. 4 hours of special effects makeup every single day. So that was hard, you know, because you're there an hour drive into the jungle, 4 hours of makeup. And then the way they built the suit, it was Stan Winston who built this suit. One of a kind, took him 6 months to make. They didn't fix it so that I could use the restroom. I mean, nothing. So I had to ask them to, you know, cut a little slot there so at least I could do number one, you know? So for the whole time it was just, you know, liquids. And I had these big lenses, contact lenses, so that I could have the leopard pupil. It covered the whole thing. It felt like somebody putting a couple of grains of sand in your eye. That's what that felt like. So then I was totally inclusive in this outfit with prosthetics all over me. Couldn't use the restroom, you know. And daily, I would call up the production office. Am I working today? Because Mr. Marlon Brando, rest in peace, he didn't know when he was going to show up or not. And I love Mr. Brando. And when he did show up, it was awesome. But, you know, you never knew. So that was challenging, just energy-wise, you know.
So just before we finish off, what are you currently working on? What's your next project? If you can talk about it.
I hope the next project is John Wick 4. But there's a series that's circling around. There's a movie. There's a couple of independents, you know. And to be quite honest, I'm working on. I love stage, and I'm working on a one-man show. Just talking about martial arts, movies, and my life growing up in Germany. My parents, their kung fu school was on the back street of the main strip in São Paulo, the red light district. So we were right next to some very interesting stores and venues. Yeah, and our showers and saunas were co-ed. So it made for a very interesting life. And could be interesting for audience. So I'm working on that. I'm working on some stage. And yeah, certain projects, they're certain, so I can't say at all, but you know, we'll see what happens. It's show business, and you never know. I'm hoping that Chad Stahelski texts me tomorrow and says, hey, you know, something's coming.
So, well, unfortunately, we have run out of time, although we could quite happily sit all afternoon, I think. Show you appreciate once more. Mark Dacascos.